I do what I do.
Common people had to do things like turn tricks and give their services.
I'm sorry, did you say common people had to turn tricks? You telling me common people they wasn't turning tricks before? In that little 8-year time period, that's the first time that the tricks were being turned. Is that what you're trying to say, sir? Are you saying, because look, because look, I grew up in Los Angeles. And when I was little, okay, 14, 15, my Uncle Slim, we would drive down a street called Figueroa, okay, and I didn't know what was going on, okay, I didn't know what was going on, but every now and then my Uncle Slim would say, damn, and I'm like, what's going on, Uncle Slim? Did you stub your toe in your Cadillac? Did you got a splinter in your finger? Damn, as he on his big cell phone. They had big cell phones back then. Yeah, he said, yeah, man, damn. And I come to find out, Uncle Slim was looking at the ladies of the night, even though it was daytime. I didn't know what was going on. He just picked me up from school. What was happening, Uncle Slim? What's going on? What's happening? Uncle Slim is gazing. The male gaze is being foisted upon these innocent women, these regular people who are out here have forced to turn tricks. You trying to tell me these women were forced to turn these tricks? Is that what you said? So that's the same thing? Is that what's going on? They forced. That's what you're saying, sir? I don't know. I think they were out there voluntarily. I think they wanted to be out there. I think they'd rather do that than have a job. But just keep listening to the matter. Come on in.
To others, you could even call on the phone young girls to be delivered to your house like Uber Eats.
Why would you do that if it wasn't in you to do that, sir? That's what I'm trying to explain to y'all. It seemed like a lot of gaslighting and blame shifting. Looked like, to me, I'm just saying, as an outsider looking in, looked like y'all was on some perverted, freaky stuff. Okay, but this is the precursor to the rise of Shit Kickler. Shit Kickler came in, all right, with the Yahtzee party and said, we gonna regulate all this, man. We're gonna hold back. We're gonna get this thing out of here. That's what they wanted. That's what they wanted.
And then you pay for their services along with people doing disgusting and degenerate acts with pregnant women, mother-daughter duos, and not to.
That's what y'all doing now. That's what y'all doing right now.
And places like Berlin became the hot spot for depravity and degeneracy, and people literally erasing their morals and ethics down to nothing, so they would be involved with disgusting practices with animals, pregnant family members, just to get by, and it essentially erased the moral line that most people had and brought them down to.
Now you see how similar this sounds, the stuff that they saying right now here in America, they blaming everybody else. That's what you wanted. Y'all did it, that's what you wanted, but let's keep listening.
Literal animals. And this is
what happens when you are trained to believe that you're superior and you can't accept responsibility. You're dealing with big children.
One of the first places in Berlin to open a transgender clinic and to push that on the mass population.
They did it over here too. That's what you've been doing. You're doing that everywhere. That's what y'all do. That's what us brown and black people are complaining about. That y'all bring that everywhere. That's what you do, sir. Let's keep listening.
This has been used for a very long time to subvert things and flip things on its head. Because if you start to realize the people in control and what they actually worship, this would make a lot more sense to you of why they're pushing this onto the population, especially now more than ever. It definitely seems like we are Weimar Republic with Wi-Fi. So if you ever wonder why they were burning all those books when a certain group of people came to power.
He back to talking about the bluish people. The books, y'all were reading the books. Apparently he's talking about the books being burned. I guess the books are these freaky books. You see what I'm saying? With freaky stuff in them. Who was reading them books? Somebody bought those books. And it was the people of Germany who bought those books. Let's keep listening though. White country. Keep listening.
It wasn't because they were burning these books of knowledge. They were burning books of perversion and degradation that were being pushed onto the people and to control them. Because if you want to control a man, you have to bring him down to the levels of an animal. So if you're interested, so come join us live on Strange Brew Podcast. You can find out any podcast
fair use,
platform.
fair use.
We will be live.
Let's move on. Move on, sir. We're gonna move on.
1933, right?
So this is more about,
and women were even allowed.
let's listen to a little bit of this. Let's listen to a little bit, then we're gonna get on. We're gonna move on.
Talking about wheelbarrows full of dollars just to buy a loaf of bread, at least.
Were
Weimar
they?
was able to establish a rather successful political system, civil rights, and women were even allowed to vote. Seemingly
There we
very
go.
progressive for
Somewhere between the gay and women having the right to vote, it causes white rage amongst white men. I'm just saying. I'm trying to draw some parallels. Being broke, women doing well for themselves, having some right to vote, and gay people being gay causes white men to be angry. At least that's what we're looking at in Germany. I'm just saying, let's point it out. I know some white people listening. Don't be mad at me. This is your history. I'm just pointing it out because the rest of us are looking around like, why all of a sudden all these white folk mad at these immigrants? There's been plenty of immigrants here for decades now. Why are you mad now? Where's all this rage coming from? Huh? This is what you're talking about. Where did it come from? Let's keep listening.
its time, art and culture flourished in the years following the World War, but since all wars are bankers' wars, the same bankers who set up the Federal Reserve in the United States said that with Germany being the loser of World War I, of course, had to pay incredibly high reparations to the Allied powers. So to pay their bills, the Weimar Republic began printing more money. Lots of
They say, oh, you want to pay your bill? We're just going to print more money and send you some of this money. That's what happened. Let's keep listening.
And as a result, they went through hyperinflation, causing the amount of money to rise and the value of currency to fall. The prices for goods and services went through the roof, and people's savings almost instantly lost almost all of their value. In 1923, when prices doubled every few days, hyperinflation was at its worst. So that was when people had to carry around wheelbarrows full of money just to buy basic necessities like a loaf of bread. But there were other things going down in Weimar besides the money printer
There was other things going around and down in Weimar. Keep listening.
going burr. The modernist movement's pinnacle was actually the Weimar Republic, and it saw unprecedented emphasis on sexuality and gender.
Some kind of way. When white folk get free, they get freaky at the same time, and they go off the scale with it. And this angers a certain coalition of white folk. Just keep listening.
Beside the rise of art, film, and media, Weimar became associated with experimentation and sexuality, with Berlin known as the queer capital of Europe. And there was a booming trans community organizing there, even publishing their own magazines and newspapers. A publication known as the Third Sex circulated in Weimar's final years, encouraging trans people to live their lives without a mask. Pictures were posted of men in drag, dressed up as Cleopatra, and articles were written advocating for equal rights and protection of trans people. There were even fictional contributions, such as the first issue's short tale called Girl Boy, providing advice for parents, coworkers, and neighbors of trans persons. I would say that we're definitely hitting.
All right, so you guys are starting to say, y'all still with me because we got work to do, okay? Because I need to begin. And now that I've explained to you in recent history, okay, and of course, as you can imagine, you know, we know what happened after that. Skittler took control of Germany. Shitkickler took control of Germany, and the Yahtzee party took over, and they began to target the bluish people. Heavily target them with Yahtzee propaganda and anti-bluish ideologies. It led to wide-scale discrimination, exclusion, and ultimately these people were unalived. You understand what I'm saying? They basically used them as scapegoats. All right. Now, you know, I know who I'm talking to my people. And my people are black, okay? And if you look at a bluish person, you are like, they look like they white to me, right? And so the question you have to ask yourself as a black person, well, why were they targeting these bluish people? And we understand why they would target the so-called gypsies. These are people who are brown. I guess that, you know, they definitely not Northern Europeans. Okay, they were the Romani people. Political opponents were targeted when the Yahtzee party came to power.
Black father, black son.
Tune in, we be feeling inspired. From the heart, real talking night. Every episode brings a light. Subscribe, hit the like, won't you dare. Share the love, you know it's fair. Join us every week, don't be late. Drop some coins in the collection plate. Drop some coins, enjoy the ride. Come say hi, catch the wave, don't pass by. Lifted spirits always in sight. In this podcast, joy takes flight. Subscribe, hit the like, won't you dare. Share the love, you know it's fair. Join us every week, don't be late. Drop some coins in the collection plate. Drop some coins.
Donation. I thought it was a class.
Hey man, I do what I do.
You know that.
Your ass class, don't come over here. You tall black mother. Women up inside. I don't give a fuck about